in the West, one of our big arguments are they build military tunnels under hospitals, okay? It's basically human shields, right? Well, if Israel builds the tunnels, it defangs that argument a little bit. It defangs that argument a bit. Now, they still bring hostages into Al-Shifa Hospital, and they've built sections out that they use exclusively for interrogation, for torture, for executions. Like, that's been known. Even Amnesty International in 2014 said that, okay? But for the tunnels specifically, right, they kind of said, you built the tunnels under the hospitals as part of the human shield thing. Well, now here's the issue if you lose this part of the narrative, right? Well, if Israel built those tunnels, did Israel build all the tunnels? IDF released footage from the tunnels, Jesus. Oh, you can see. What are we even watching here?
Saying that if you don't believe me when I say UN workers, World Health Organization, and like UNRWA workers and hospital workers are all Hamas terrorists that deserve death is akin to my own personal Holocaust. Not letting me kill sick.
You have to be something that is going to be really damaging. Man, we got a lot of information warfare going out. Here's the first thing, and I fully admit, no, this, oh, shit. I'm trying to find a place where I can shit on Israel, okay? I really am. I was going to say that it looks really bad for Israel to like now come out and say like, oh, we know the tunnels are there because we built them. I would say that, but the reality is they were really open about building them in 2014, I think, right? Was it 2014 or was it earlier? No, I think it was earlier. So it's not like they ever hid it. So I don't know if like everybody in Israel just knew and it's common knowledge, or if like they expected, or I'm not sure, I don't know. That's a really weird thing to me. But also, there's been extensions obviously from Hamas and everything as well. But yeah, I really wish there was like good history on like why were those tunnels built? Why Israel build tunnels Al-Shifa? Does it actually matter who built them? A little bit, yes. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Now, maybe not from Israel, because maybe Israel doesn't engage in this form of argumentation or propaganda, maybe. But remember, in the West, one of our big arguments are they build military tunnels under hospitals, okay? It's basically human shields, right? Well, if Israel builds the tunnels, it defangs that argument a little bit. It defangs that argument a bit. Now, they still bring hostages into Al-Shifa Hospital, and they've built sections out that they use exclusively for interrogation, for torture, for executions. Like, that's been known. Even Amnesty International in 2014 said that, okay? But for the tunnels specifically, right, they kind of said, you built the tunnels under the hospitals as part of the human shield thing. Well, now here's the issue if you lose this part of the narrative, right? Well, if Israel built those tunnels, did Israel build all the tunnels, right? That's a big part of that narrative, yeah. When did Israel confirm they built them? Haven't seen that. It's like open knowledge. I think there were articles about it in 2014. Like everybody, I think was it Ehud Barak? Was on CNN, and I think he said it. He said it like it wasn't even a big deal. Why did Israel build them in the first place? I don't know. It could be for, I don't know, bomb shelter. I don't fucking know. What was it, this interview?
Can I just start by asking you what is your view of whether your government, your military, has done a good enough job of proving their claim that there was a major command center and bunker under Al-Shifa?
It's already known for many years that they have in the bunkers that originally was built by Israeli constructors underneath Shifa were used as a command post of the Hamas and a kind of a junction of several tunnels. Part of the system. I don't know to say to what extent it is a major. It's probably not the only kind of command post. Several others are under other hospitals or in other sensitive places, but it's for sure had been used by Hamas even during this conflict.
Well, when you say it was built by Israeli engineers, did you misspeak?
No, decades ago we were running the place. So we held them. It was decades, many decades ago, probably 4 decades ago, that we helped them to build these bunkers in order to enable more space for the operation of the hospital within the very limited size of this compound.
Okay. All right. Well, that's sort of thrown me a little bit. So these were there for a long, long time, but you're claiming, or they're claiming.
Also, we need to be really careful about what we're talking about here too. This is why I wish I could find more articles on this. But my understanding is twofold. One is that there's going to be some bunker things built that because Israel ran the hospital, they built these, but it's not tunnels connecting everything, and it wasn't supposed to be like a command outpost to direct military operations. And they've probably been expanded since then, right? That's what the IDF accusation is. Not that there's nothing out there at all, right? So for people, my guess is, because I already saw the majority report do this a little bit, people are probably going to run with this and say, oh, well, of course they knew it. Of course Israel knew there were bunkers under there. The United States sold Iraq the chemical weapons, right? It's like the same argument. Of course you knew that. You guys did it all along, right? It's the same thing. What did Immortal Techniques say? You got the receipts.
That they're used as a major command center. Anyway, the fact of the matter is that as yet, they have.
Get your Hebrew-speaking audience find Hebrew language articles about the bunkers. Can you auto-translate? I mean, it should be, I don't even know. When Ehud Barak says decades ago, also, you know, we should just look at this. Year 2000, Gaza, Israeli settlements. Is Al-Shifa a hospital that was initially part of an Israeli settlement in Gaza? We should just know this, right? We can find this. There weren't that many settlements, I don't think. Because I think, wasn't it, there were only 5,000 people here, right? Am I wrong? Or how many people were pulled out? Was it 10,000? Bro, I hate this feature. I don't like it when websites change based on how big the page is. I don't like this. I don't like this. Wait, so Ehud Barak a couple days ago, the first source to say this about the Israeli bunkers under Al-Shifa, or were there previous people or sources saying this? No. Remember we read Tabla? This article is from 2014. Okay. The Israelis are so sure. Also, this tablet mag, okay, this is, I don't want to call this Zionist. That feels so loaded. But like, tablet is a super pro-Zionist source, okay? So it's not even like Haaretz or Bet Salem or whatever, right? I hope I'm not butchering the pronunciations of these things, right? This is like a super, I'm not saying, also, by the way, hold on. I'm not impugning either of those, the publication or the organization either. I don't mean to impugn any of them either, right? But I'm just saying, like, this is like a super, pretty sure this is a super Zionist source. These guys are. The Israelis are so sure about the location of the Hamas bunker, however, not because they were trying to score propaganda points or because it's been repeatedly mentioned in passing by Western reporters, but because they built it. Back in 1983, when Israel still ruled Gaza, they built a secure underground operating room and tunnel network beneath Shifa Hospital, which is one of among several reasons why Israeli security sources are so sure that there is a main Hamas command bunker in or around the large cement basement beneath the area of Building 2 in the hospital. But yeah, this was like, it wasn't like a secret. That's why I was trying to say, like, Israel fucked up by, like, not openly talking about this and then trying to pretend like, oh, we knew about it the whole time. But like, I don't even know if Israel's thinking that. It might just have been like common knowledge in Israel. I'm not sure, because yeah, this is 2014. This was like, no, like this wasn't a big deal, right? I don't think. All right. Let me go grab one of those cough drops. Hold on. Syrian girl started posting screen caps of that article right as the IDF was preparing to go to the hospital. Yeah, I know. That's the only reason I know this article existed, is because whenever she posts something, she's probably misrepresenting it. So I looked to find the original article. Yeah. The Israeli security cabinet approves a temporary pause in order to return some of the hostages. The war will undoubtedly take this as a first step towards cessation of hostilities. Nope, Israel's mission will not and should not change. Oh, I mean, Israel has said as much. Shouldn't saving the hostages be the priority here? Probably not. It's probably the destruction of Hamas, right? The issue is Hamas has been taking hostages for a long time, allowing them to continue by returning hostages, allowing them to take more hostages in the future. The last time they did this is with Gilad Shalit. The released terrorist for that hostage committed October 7th. Bro, what was the IDF's thought here? I think this is where they released like over 1,000 fucking prisoners for one guy. $1,027 prisoners. 280 of these had been sentenced to life in prison for planning and perpetrating various attacks against Israeli targets. IDF released footage from the tunnels. Jesus.
Control, it also has an air conditioning. This air conditioning goes above the hospital. One of the reasons that allows us to understand this complex that we found.
Living on your own and owning a car are probably two fundamental things you could do right away to be ready to date. Yeah, but those can be hard things to do. Living on your own, just go buy a house, bro. But that is true. Having a level of independence. I think that for, I would say that confidence, it's always confidence, it's always important. Independence is probably a pretty good trait as a man to exhibit, to show that you're like a separate thing. I think that's an attractive quality. Why no advice for women? I don't know. Women have a totally different set of dating problems, I think, than men do. And it also, just depends.
The engine or the air conditioner, of course, outside, next to the Qatari compound, inside the hospital, electricity, full electricity. The gear that was inside here was evacuated before we entered, but look at the ceiling. This is not just a regular tunnel. This is a high facility compound. Also, more toilets here.
Why are we looking at this dude's ass?
Of course, they tried to seal it. Electricity from all over the sides, or electricity. All this electricity compound, all this electricity gear, of course, comes out from the hospital. The hospital provides, in that sense, electricity to this terror mechanism of the tunnel.
Deporte, afuera. Ministerio de Cultura, afuera. Ministerio de Ambiente y Desarrollo Sostenible, afuera. Ministerio de las Mujeres y Género y Diversidad, afuera. Ministerio de Obras Públicas, afuera. Aunque te resistas. Ministerio de Ciencia y Tecnología e Innovación, afuera. Ministerio de Trabajo, Empleo y Seguridad Social, afuera. Ministerio de Educación, Adoctrinamiento, afuera. Ministerio de Transporte, afuera. Ministerio de Salud, afuera. Ministerio de Desarrollo Social, afuera. Se acabó el curro de la política. ¡Viva la libertad, carajo! Turismo y deporte, afuera.
How did Arnold Schwarzenegger do as the governor of California? I feel like I was too young to appreciate how unreal it was that that the Terminator was the governor of California. How did that even go? He was cooking good. I like the Bill Burr sketch on Arnold. He's got to be like one of the most accomplished men. Reagan did it first. Was Reagan ever even remotely as big as Arnold Schwarzenegger was as an actor? What was Reagan's acting career? I feel like it's... Nah, I don't. Fuck you. Also, he was Mr... Was it Olympia? Mr. Worldwide? I don't know what the fuck the name was. Show this clip. Oh, yeah, sorry. Where were we? Arnold is a super wholesome dude, runs his own events to get more money into strength sports, has a lot of support for disability stuff, like bringing Miles Taylor to his Arnold Open, usually super wholesome on social media. That is true. Oh my God. I wish I had this energy more, okay? Give me like 5 years, because I've kind of rebranded away from being like an asshole. It's just fun to be mean to people, okay? But like the most devastating fucking meanness that you can be, it comes from nice, respectful people. I talk about like my band teacher could do this, where he would just say something like he would never write you detentions. If you hadn't practiced, you hadn't prepared, like he would just tell you, like, listen, he'd stop rehearsing and say, hey, clearly you haven't rehearsed this. Why don't you pack your instrument up and take a study hall? And you would just like, you'd leave and you just feel horrible. And you just feel the worst thing ever. Two of the most like inspiring moments I've ever seen somebody do that are, I can't spell this guy's name at all, okay? I probably just typed like 7 different slurs. Was when Arnold Schwarzenegger responded to, somebody made fun of like special ed Olympians or something. It was such a nice response, too. The Special Olympics makes no sense. The Olympics are for the best athletes in the entire world to compete against each other to determine who is the best. Having retards competing is doing the opposite. Arnold Schwarzenegger response, as stupid and evil as this comment is, I'm not going to delete it or ban you yet because it's a teachable moment. You have 2 possible paths ahead. Right now, I guarantee you that these athletes have more courage, compassion, brain, skill, actually more of every positive human quality than you. So take their path. You could learn from them and try to challenge yourself to give back, to add something from the world. Or you can stay on your path and keep being a sad, pitiful, jealous internet troll who adds nothing to the world but mocks anyone who does out of small-minded jealousy. I know what you really want is attention, so let me be clear. If you choose to keep going that way, no one will ever remember you. Whoa! The second time, oh fuck, I gotta find this. The only other time I've seen a comment that was like as scorching as this was oh my God, it was about dreadlocks, right? So I think was it Kenyon Martin? This guy made a comment about how this like Chinese boys shouldn't have dreadlocks or some shit, right? Destiny, that guy ended up killing himself. Big drama. Wait, really? Can I find the video on this? Or was it, it might have been cornrows. I don't remember what it was at the time. I have no idea. No, it was dreadlocks. Fuck you guys. Don't gaslight me. Was it this?
I got the donkey there.
So if you ever feel I need to be a donkey.
Great guy. He's been here to the Breakfast Club before, but donkey today does not discriminate. Now, I'm not sure exactly when this happened. I just heard about it this morning. I'll be disconnected from social media. I don't have social media on my phone except Instagram, so I missed a lot, and I'm not mad at missing it at all.
But the last name is Lynn.
But that's Kenyon's opinion. He's entitled to that. Me personally, cultural appropriation, and one of those persons happened to be Kenyon Martin. Let's hear what Kenyon had to say, please.
Do I need to remind this damn boy that his last name Lynn? Come on, man. Let's stop this, man. Like, there was no way possible, man, he would have made it on one of our teams, man, with that bullshit going on his head, man. Like, somebody really need to tell him, like, all right, bro, we get it. We get it. Like, you want to be black. Like, we get it. But the last name is Lynn.
So he makes fun of him for being a Chinese dude with, I think it was dreads or whatever. And this guy posted a response on his Instagram, and it was like, oh my God, it was such a good response. Was it this, I think? Hey man, it's all good. You don't have to like my hair and definitely entitled to your opinion. Actually, I legit grateful you sharing it, to be honest. At the end of the day, I appreciate that I have dreads and you have Chinese tattoos because it's a sign of respect. And I think as minorities, the more we appreciate each other's cultures, the more we influence mainstream society. Jesus Christ. I can't believe this guy made that comment though, having Chinese tattoos. Why would you set yourself up like that? But that's such a classy, good response. Like, what are you gonna say? Jesus. But yeah. Arnold Schwarzenegger also had another one where where a guy tried to, I think, attack him at an event, and I think Arnold turns around and smiles at him. Can I find this? Or was it some guy tried to kick him? Hold on. Hold on.
One more piece. Last. Double check. No.
There might have been one where he got an egg thrown at him too.
Come here.
I think there are other camera angles here, but I think he just goes on and he just keeps like signing things and like doing photos after this. Did they say why he did it? I don't know. Why the fuck would you attack Arnold Schwarzenegger? He's like a chill. He just seems like a. Maybe he thought he was the Terminator. Oh, you can see, bro, he does move. He gets moved a bit, but like to see like this guy did a whole flying jump kick and he just like stumbles a bit. Jesus Christ. And Arnold's like, bro, are you okay? People are saying the kid was mentally ill and Arnold talked to him after.
That dude should be unloading trucks in Transylvania. That should have been the height of his success. But because he's a great man, he had the balls to move to America. Became famous for lifting weights. I lift weights, nobody gives a shit. He lifts weights, becomes super famous. Did he rest on his laurels? No. Next challenge. I'm gonna become an actor despite the fact that nobody can really understand me. Against all odds, he starts making movies. Get down, there's a bomb, get out of there.
Not only did he become an actor, but I'm trying to remember if I'm making this up or I've read this. I think in Terminator 2, wasn't he the one that pushed for wanting to be the good guy? Because I think initially, like he's huge, he's got the weird accent. I thought it was like just kind of decided that he's just going to play a villain forever. But I thought he was the one that talked to Cameron a lot and pushed for in Terminator 2. He wanted to be like a good guy character. Oh, incorrect. He was very skeptical of that. Oh, okay, maybe that's not true. Maybe I misrepresented or understood that incorrectly or whatever.
Becomes one of the biggest blockbuster stars of all time. What are you gonna do next, Arnie? I think I'll marry a Kennedy. There's no fucking way you can do that. Bam, he does it. Cherry on top, I'm running for governor of a state I can't even pronounce, and he wins the election. Why wouldn't this guy think he couldn't bang his maid in his own bed and get away with it?
Did you see Argentina's president-elect is a legit schizo who speaks to his dead dog and gets political advice from it? I have not seen that. Well, I feel like didn't we all move on really quickly? I should read more about this actually, because I might be like butchering what actually happened. But like, didn't we move on really quickly from there being a South Korean, like the president of South Korea was some guy or woman that was like being mind controlled by like a cult of tea leaf, like weird fucking culty tea leaf readers or some shit? Did this happen? Am I making this up? Everybody tried to saying what? It was a woman. It was a woman, right? Yeah. Does nobody remember this? I feel like it was in the news for like 3 days. South Korean leader cult. Was it? What was her name? Oh, was it this? Was a scandal that emerged in October 2016 in relation to the unusual access that Choi Soon-sil, the daughter of shaman-esque cult leader Choi Tae-min, had to President Park Geun-hye, Jesus, of South Korea. Widespread coverage of the South Korean political scandal began in late October 2016. She was impeached. Yeah, this was some weird shit. A leaked diplomatic cable from the U.S. Embassy in Seoul reported subsequent rumors that Choi was a Korean Rasputin, right? Who had complete control over Park's body and soul during her formative years, and his children accumulated enormous wealth as a result. This whole thing was a whole fucking weird fucking thing. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Almost every former leader of South Korea has been arrested or assassinated after stepping down. Yeah, that's also weird too. Remember the ex-Korean president that got like assassinated by like a makeshift shotgun? That was Japan? Oh shit, this was Japan, not South Korea. Shinzo Abe. Wasn't this a cool... Why do I feel like I've seen happy videos of this guy before? Oh wait, did I talk about my Twitch appeal? Or did I only type that in chat? My appeal came up today, and I can tell, thankfully, that they've revamped the unban the appeal system because I got rejected in record time, okay? Only took them about an hour to ship me the rejection, you know? They let us on personally rejected repeal, true.
What do you think of his...
Okay, Les House, all right. Linking the same video from 50 million times yesterday. Let's see what we got.
And one day and go, okay,
I hope this is a good video. I hope this quote is worth it, because I know you've been linking this for literally fucking 24 hours.
give up.
Really? How did we get rid of the Nazis? How did we defeat the Nazis?
Because those were a different time, Ben.
So now we can no longer defeat evil forces?
We couldn't defeat the Taliban. We couldn't defeat anybody in Iraq. We couldn't defeat the Sunni insurgency. We couldn't defeat the Vietnamese. Because in the old days, you defeated people by murdering everyone in their home. So people who say like, hey, how did we beat the Nazis? Yeah, we firebombed Dresden and killed 70% of the civilians. That includes 70% of the babies, the grandmothers, etc. And so in those days, you fought and you killed everyone until...
What did he compare this to?
Nazis. How did we defeat the Nazis?
Because those were a different time, Ben.
So now we can no longer defeat evil forces?
We couldn't defeat the Taliban. We couldn't defeat anybody in Iraq. We couldn't defeat the Sunni insurgency. We couldn't defeat the Vietnamese because...
Wait, what does he mean by we couldn't defeat anybody in Iraq? Iraq was the one thing that stood out there because it was a country that had a government that could be toppled or defeated. Yeah, there's a big difference between that versus like an indefinite like guerrilla fucking fight. This is a dumb point. I don't care. There's nothing of value here for me. Okay, what is this?
Israel.
Our good friend Mearsheimer. Let's see what he's had to say on this.
Starting the ground invasion of Gaza recently on October.
Oh, I can't wait to hear. I'm gonna say a bunch of shit. And I hope I'm wrong. And then this guy's like a real academic, and I just haven't given him a fair shake in the past, maybe because I've been too biased because of the horrible Ukraine-Russia takes I felt like he gave. Okay, so however, man, I wonder if he's about to give a whole bunch of bullshit reasons why Israel absolutely is unethical and not justified in attacking the people in the Gaza Strip, and it's the worst and most horrible thing ever, while maintaining that Russia has an infinite blank check to write on the destruction of Ukraine. Let's see. Hopefully I'm wrong. Let's check.
27th.
The question is, should they continue until they have finally defeated Hamas? There are all sorts of reports in the media, including in the Israeli media, that they're not going to be allowed by the United States to continue this offensive for much more than a few weeks. The Israelis have been saying it's going to take, in the best of all possible worlds, a number of months, if not a year, to finish off Hamas. Well, it doesn't look like they're going to have enough time to do that. I doubt whether they can finish off Hamas even if they're given the time. I think they're going to run into fierce resistance. And when they run into fierce resistance and large numbers of Israelis are going to start to die, they'll lose their appetite for this. And the Israelis, surely know at this point in time that even if they finish off Hamas, even if I'm wrong and they're able to finish off Hamas, another group is going to rise up to resist the occupation. The idea that you can use what Zeev Jabotinsky called the Iron Wall to beat the Palestinians into submission is delusional. It's just not going to happen. The Palestinians want a state of their own. They don't want to live under occupation. And there's no military solution for Israel here. There has to be a political solution. And the only viable political solution is a two-state solution. I mean, you can't go to democracy. You can't go to a...
Yeah, I mean, like, you're right. But, like, do you think the Palestinians are pushing for a two-state democracy? Do you think Hamas wants a two-state solution? That's not at all what they're pushing for. I mean, what do you mean?
Situation where you give the Palestinians equal rights inside of Greater Israel, in large part because there are now as many Palestinians as there are Israeli Jews. And over time, the demographic balance shifts against the Israeli Jews and in favor of the Palestinians, in which case you'll end up with a Palestinian state in Greater Israel. So, democracy for all doesn't work. The Israelis, I believe, are quite interested in ethnic cleansing. I think they saw this recent set of events as an opportunity to cleanse Gaza, but that's not going to happen. The Jordanians and the Egyptians have made it clear that that's not happening. The United States has now made it clear that that's not happening. And
everybody has been on the, team of no ethnic cleansing. This isn't novel. Yeah, no shit.
and the Palestinians will not leave. They'll die in place. So ethnic cleansing doesn't work. So you're really left with two alternatives, a two-state solution or a greater Israel that is effectively an apartheid state. I mean, that's what the occupation has led to. And all sorts of people have been predicting this for a long, long time. And you've now reached the point, here in the United States, if you say that Israel is an apartheid state, that's going to get you into all sorts of trouble. But the fact is that Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, and B'Tselem, which is the leading Israeli human rights group, all three of those institutions or organizations have issued detailed reports making the case that Israel is an apartheid state. Furthermore, if you read the Israeli media, right, all sorts of Israelis, including Israeli leaders, refer to Israel as an apartheid state. It's not that unusual to hear that term used in Israel. This is disastrous for Israel, in my opinion. And Steve Walton and I said this, by the way, when we wrote the Israel lobby, that Israel is an apartheid state, which is equivalent to Israel as an occupier, is not good for Israel. And that brings us back to the two-state solution. But as you and I were talking about a few minutes ago, it's hard to see how you get a two-state solution. And the end result of this conversation is utter despair.
Because the path to a two-state solution is blocked by the amount of
I mean, he's not really wrong. He's just not saying anything interesting or novel, I guess.
hate that's created by civilian deaths.
Well, that plus the fact that the Israeli government is filled with people who have no interest in a two-state solution. Their ideal.
I think it's interesting to place all the blame on the Israeli government for no two-state solution desire when we can see the polling data, we can see the stated goals, we can see who supports the Palestinians right now. It's not people that want a two-state solution, but
logically deeply committed to a greater Israel. They want all the land between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea to be part of a Jewish state. They're just ideologically committed to that. And of course, as we were talking about before with regard to Hamas wants everything between...
History betrays that the Israeli people would never settle for a second state for Palestinians, unless you think they've been lying every single time in the past, I guess.
Between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea to be part of a Jewish state. They're just ideologically committed to that. And of course, as we were talking about before with regard to Hamas wants everything between the river and the sea to be a Palestinian state. And, when you have two sides with those kinds of views, right, you're in deep trouble because there's little room for compromise. So what you have to do to get this to work is you have to convince the Israelis that it's in their interest to have a two-state solution. And you've already taken care of the PA on this front, the Palestinian Authority, but you've got to convince Hamas that its maximalist goals are not going to work, and it's in its interest to follow in the footsteps of Arafat and accept the two-state solution. But even if you do that at this you're in deep trouble because there's little room for compromise. So what you have to do to get this to work is you have to convince the Israelis that it's in their interest to have a two-state solution. And you've already taken care of the PA on this front, the Palestinian Authority, but you've got to convince Hamas that its maximalist goals are not going to work, and it's in its interest to follow in the footsteps of Arafat and accept a two-state solution. But even if you do...
I mean, Arafat, I don't think ever accepted a two-state solution, but okay.
Do that at this point. Let's say that, there's a lot of willingness intellectually on both sides to do that. The problem is that the hatred that has been fueled by this recent this ongoing conflict is so great that it's just hard to imagine how you can make a two-state solution work at this juncture. That's why I've sort of taken to saying, and I hope I'm wrong here, that on the two-state solution, that boat has sailed. It's just it's no longer possible.
Well, again, I believe in leadership, and there's other parties at play here, other nations, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, other players in the Middle East that can help. They can help through a normalization of relationships and these kinds of things. There's always hope, like you said, slither of hope.
I mean, I think I mostly agree. There's just nothing interesting here, but I don't think he's super wrong on anything here, really.
And why did the Palestinians...
Also, who agreed or disagreed to a two-state is probably a matter of intense debate as well. It's still, I'm pretending, or the way I talk about it is like a settled fact. Like, everything points to the fact that the Palestinians and Arafat continue to blow up, or we're blowing up all of the two-state solution things. But, I mean, that's an opinion and a perspective that I have. But it might not 100% be correct, or I could be pushed the other way. There could be other evidence that I haven't seen, right, that pushes it the other way. What is this? 10 years ago.
Palestinians turned down 93 to 95% when offered by Ehud Barak, 96% when offered by Ehud Olmert.
50% of the West Bank, and then you basically say, if you want to take these disconnected cantons on 40% of the West Bank and call it a state, you can call it an empire for all we care.
Then why did the Palestinians turn down 93 to 95% when offered by Ehud Barak, 96% when offered by Ehud Olmert?
Because
they had an opportunity
people like
to accept that.
Because Alan, if I want to sell you my house, and you say and I say it's worth $1 million, and you say no, you've rejected my offer. If you say I'm willing to pay $500,000, and I say no, I've rejected your offer. What people like you keep leaving out in these narratives is that the Palestinians also had offers. The Palestinians rejected Israel's offer. Israel rejected the Palestinians' offer. Gilad Shaer, who was Barak's chief negotiator at Camp David, says that Arafat had an offer for about a 2.5% land swap, international troops in the Jordan Valley, Jewish control over the Jewish neighborhoods of East Jerusalem. We know that Sabi Erekat said that when...
I would love to see that deal. I have not heard of that. Can somebody link me what he's referencing? Because my understanding is that every time an offer was made and accepted, Arafat kept upping what he wanted at Camp David. I would be very interested to hear if there was like an actual good proposal on the table that Israel turned down or walked away from. There might be something within somebody's memoirs or a book or somebody that they publish that they talk about. I'd be curious to see if somebody can find this. I'd be curious.
Olmert offered 6.3% with a 5.7% land swap, that Abbas offered a 1.9% equal land swap. So you can't simply tell the story of the Palestinians saying no. The truth is, there was a difference in the amount of land they wanted the Palestinians to take control of. There were differences on refugees, differences on other issues as well. That's why building settlements is so catastrophic, because it makes the possibility of bridging those divides that much harder.
We never agree on this. No, we do disagree on this because the other people, well,
who are the other people?
Bill Clinton, Dennis Ross have a completely different narrative. They say that Yasser Arafat walked away without making a counter offer.
Ellen, those are the only people you've read. If you actually read the literature more broadly, you would see that.
Who cite somebody? Read what literature? Who is he citing? Who is the guy that he cited before?
Actually, there are a series of Israeli negotiators, from Yossi Beilin to Gilad Shaar, and including.
Okay, Yossi Beilin, Gilad Shaar. Somebody find me these people. I really want to read these statements. It would round up my opinion so much, please. Okay, because it is hardcore pro-Zionist at the moment. Give me something to shit on the Israelis for. Okay, please find whatever statements he's referencing. Please, 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 please.
All have an agenda, and they're all creating narratives that fit their agenda. And I'm saying to you, we'll never resolve this. We'll never resolve what happened.
I want to make clear, I am not absolving Yasser Arafat from a significant share of the blame for what happened at Camp David.
I don't think Alan Dershowitz is the best guy for that. I don't care if he's a good or bad guy. He's citing names and he's giving a counter argument. I want to know if the counter arguments are real.
Or Jimmy Carter, who told Yasser Arafat to turn down.
Okay, we'll throw Carter in there too. But the point is there was a difference between the two parties, and simply saying that it was a story of Israel offering the moon and the Palestinians saying no and offering nothing in return is simply not true to the historical record.
No, it is true, and it's true in '67 when Israel accepted 242, and the Palestinians went to Khartoum and said no negotiations, no peace, no recognition.
Listen to this. I want to listen to this. This is Barack's former aide Tal Zipperstein. 10 years later, this is what he said in 2011. There are still people who say we gave him everything at Camp David and got nothing. That is a flagrant lie. This was another Barack aide who has come out and said, in fact, that this is a distortion of the historical
record. I spoke to Tal Silberstein days after this was over, and I got a completely different account
we don't have a record of that.
than the one that he has written years later. What happens is people rewrite history according to their ideology. My point is we'll never know for sure what happened, but if you look from 38 on, 38 two-state solution.
Well, wait, hold on. How can you say we'll never know for sure what happened after this guy presents some counter arguments when your initial argument is we know for sure that the Palestinians walked away from everything? What? We just kind of, that was a pretty hard pivot there, but okay.
48 two-state solution. Israel accepts it. Palestinians reject it. 67, 92, 2001, 2007. It's a consistent pattern. You can find a quote or two that seems inconsistent with that, but you can't deny the pattern.
Which leader, Mahmoud Abbas or Benjamin Netanyahu, rejected Barack Obama's proposal for 67 line swaps? And which one signed the Dershowitz deal? Right? You have your peace plan, right? As far I saw a picture in the Jerusalem Post of Abbas's signature on it.
Absolutely.
Where's Bibi's signature?
Well, Bibi didn't turn it down.
He didn't turn it down.
Remember,
he didn't turn it down. You offered it last fall. What's he waiting for?
Steinitz turned it down last week in front of you. Steinitz said no to you.
Steinitz said no, and so did Uzi Arad.
Right.
But I have to tell you that Benjamin Netanyahu, I think, would very... First of all, Benjamin Netanyahu responded
last fall. What's he waiting for?
Bibi didn't turn it down.
He didn't turn it down. Which leader, Mahmoud Abbas or Benjamin Netanyahu, rejected Barack Obama's proposal for 67 lines plus swaps? And which one...
Okay, Barack Obama proposal 67, peace, we'll say 1967, peace Israel. Damn, but by the time we've got Obama in play, okay. President Barack Obama on Thursday made official long-term but rarely held U.S. support for a future Palestinian state based on borders that existed before the 1967 Middle East War. In the past, the U.S. has unofficially backed a two-state solution to the Israel-Palestinian conflict by its borders place. In a major speech Thursday, became the first president to formally endorse the policy. The John Kerry parameters. Oh, okay. Let me check these out. Hold on. Are a declaration of principles that seeks to serve as a framework for a final resolution to the longstanding Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Okay, what did this set out? The establishment of secure and recognized borders between Israel and Palestine that are viable through negotiations on the basis of the 67 borders with equal exchanges of land acceptable to both sides. This is okay. The realization of Resolution 181 concerning two states and peoples, one Jewish and the other Arab. Okay. A just, acceptable, and realistic solution to the problem of the Palestinian refugees with international assistance, including compensation, options, assistance. Oh, and Kerry stressed the solution should not affect the essential character of Israel. To find a mutually acceptable solution to Jerusalem as the international recognized capital to the two states. Okay. To satisfy Israel's security needs in a satisfactory manner and occupation completely, while at the same time ensuring that Israel is able to defend itself effectively, that Palestine can guarantee security of its own people, ending the conflict and all the pending demands so that normal relations can be established and regional security can be strengthened for all, as mentioned in the peace initiative presented by Arab countries. This just seems pretty base. It seems like it takes into account most of the people's concerns, right? Trying to do something with the refugees that don't impact the character of Israel, that have to do with like international assistance and everything. The security concerns are brought up.